Nick Kypreos does join us on the line right now. He of Hockey Night in Canada. Hey, Nick, thanks for doing this.
Hey, afternoon, guys. Hi.
Hey, yeah. So this Marleau stuff, was that obvious to you? Like, it seems surprising that a guy that signs the 3-year deal to move his whole family here is so amenable to leaving.
Yeah, I would have imagined that a couple of scenarios a couple of years ago would have been played out on a thought process of where that third year's lied for Patrick Marleau. I'm not sure if this is something that totally snuck up on him or the Leafs. We all know of the salary cap crunch here, and they've got to make some tough decisions. And I never got the sense that coming to this conclusion for Patrick Marleau is a surprise. I would imagine there have been multiple conversations as early as when he first signed here on what that third year could look like.
Well, that's what makes most sense to me if I just look at it from me trying to put myself in Patrick Marleau's shoes. Because when I first evaluated this, I was like, well, why would he ever waive his no move when he's playing for a team that, took the Boston Bruins to 7 games, and it looks like the Bruins are going to win a Stanley Cup. He's going to be playing for a coach that seems to have a real affinity for him. He gets along with his teammates. And, yeah, like Ontario life seems to be suiting him well. The only reason that I could think of is that there was some type of understanding when he did sign the deal from the front office in Marleau that in taking that extra year, he would play ball when this situation came up in the team if they were looking to move him. Is that possible? Like, is that something that you would discuss at a negotiation?
That's the sense that I've gotten throughout all of this. And it's clear that he still wants to play, that he's not ready to retire.
Right.
I don't get the sense that San Jose's showing a lot of interest in bringing him back. But I did mention on Hockey Night in Canada the thought of Arizona or Colorado or LA still being in a position to make a deal work. Of course, LA's got their own issues with big contracts for aging players, including Ilya Kovalchuk. So what will have to happen for LA to convince, I think, that ownership group to take on another contract on an aging player would be what the Leafs could do to sweeten the offer for the Kings. And I would believe that would have to be a roster player. Wouldn't surprise me at all if the ask is Kapanen to be included in a deal that moves the Marleau contract to LA. That makes a lot of sense. And if we look at the league's track record, that's generally what happens when you try to move a contract. We saw it with Bickle and Chicago and Carolina that cost them Teravainen. And Teravainen's a good player. He was a very good player for Carolina, but that was the price that Chicago had to pay to unload Bickle's contract. I think that would play out a similar situation for Patrick Marleau and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Man, that just feels like such a steep price to get off of that 1 year
That's
of
just
Marleau
1 year.
to give up an asset like Kapanen.
It is a steep price.
But is that?
But it's a steep price to unload money when you've got a cash crunch. And the Leafs teams know where Kyle Dubas and the Leafs are and their situation with trying to sign Marner here. And that's the price in a salary cap era, is that it's expensive to park money. And that's what Kyle Dubas needs to do, is park money somewhere else. And he's got a heck of a challenge.
Yeah. Just thinking of, that being the acquisition cost of getting rid of a guy like Marleau and having to swallow that one. Does that, if it was a situation where you thought they were giving up Kapanen, would you think that maybe there would be something a little sweeter coming back to the Leafs, like that you wouldn't just be eating a bad contract? Because like the idea to me always seemed like they were just going to do whatever to move off of the cap, and they wanted to lower their cap hit no matter what the cost of, or not no matter what the cost, but at the expense of a higher priced asset or a more coveted asset.
Well, you do have assets, and the one thing that the Leafs have been very good at the last few years is stocking the cupboards with prospects and assets. So they've got some to play with, and they ultimately know that not every one of them can end up wearing a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of Kyle and Brendan Shanahan now picking and choosing what they want to move and what they don't want to move. And if they're really high on Kapanen, maybe you convince LA or Arizona to maybe take Andreas Janssen. I mean, but it's going to cost them something. Nobody's just taking that Marleau deal to do the Leafs any favors here.